Margaret in Windsor, and I'm making this video today, and I want to clarify something again so you know where I'm coming from. I'm not going to give all that background. It's on YouTube and Facebook, and believe me, I'm getting repercussion for telling the truth, something you don't do here in the States when you're telling about their crimes, all right? But anyway, my real name is Margaret Ann Windsor, and I was kidnapped from Buckingham Palace and brought to Moulton, Alabama, given the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey. I married a Childers, and I didn't find out until 73 my real name and about my kidnapping, and I had done a book on mind control, and I had worked for doctors, and I also worked for a district attorney in Huntsville, Alabama, but I lived most of the time and worked in Atlanta, lived in Marietta, and did the book. And I told about programming people to go out and kill, modify their behavior, and make you think that they have mental illness. The doctors do know. That's what really gets me in all this. They do not weigh in on telling the truth. Mental illness and mind control have nothing to do with each other. Mind control is a weapon used to make the wrong person pay for the crime, and how do you fit it back to the one that's doing the programming? But anyway, I wanted to get in. I did mention in my book, and it was unpublished because they put antifreeze in me, April Fool of 80. I hope I'm not showing my feet and everything here this morning. I'm so sick because I've put on prior tapes, and I want to put this in now before I start on the other. I am allergic to chemicals. I have an immune disorder. And when I'm around chemicals, especially if you're in your home and your home's deliberately made toxic, let me just shorten it and say that, deliberately force-fed it, made to breathe it. You have to get away from it. It's the breathing and inhaling it, and it over a period of time, it makes your organs disintegrate, really. It, all kinds of things, kidneys, lungs, liver, you name it. And last night, and it's in repercussion, and I'm not going to mention the surroundings here. There's very few people here where I'm living, and I had to get up and open the window because the ventilation system has always been tampered with and toxics put through it. There's nowhere to go with it because the law enforcement's involved in it, and they get. I put this all on the other, so I will ease up and I won't get to what I started to say on this tape. But anyway, about 4 o'clock this morning, I woke up with the window open. It's cold here in Virginia, and just trying to breathe, and somebody had come to the window. It's the only way that got through, the open window. And I don't know what they put through, but I honestly thought I was dying, and I'm just now getting it together, and my lungs are like they've been seared. And the people at the office know it. This is all part of it, and I've put on that own it and work here, and the maintenance guy is the one that suddenly is up at the office over what food. They have a slight buffet or food there in the morning, and he's the one that's behind the desk for the last couple of weeks. And yes, they've known the agencies get things on the owners or the maintenance or you name it. It doesn't have to be just residential or where you live. They can go. These can go out and reach anywhere, and I'll leave it at that because I sound babbling right at the moment. I want to say I mentioned in that book that was unpublished because what they did to me, the antifreeze and all of it that transpired after then, nobody's ever paid for it either. Not one moment. Everybody involved in this whole, my kidnapping and all of it, have lived a good life. Money, wealth. Anyway, Ebola, I mentioned about the Center for Disease Control in Emory University in my book. that was unpublished. MD, a licensed kill. And Larry Flynn, I add this, was shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, March the 6th of 78 while I was doing the book in Marietta. And later I was flown out when I was on a political campaign to his home, and he did an editorial about I knew who was responsible for his shooting, et cetera, et cetera. And it's an agency that's doing this, but MK Ultra was the one that did it and was brought before Congress in '53 and slapped on the wrist. But it's the people that's let it happen. And nowadays, corporations use it. When somebody can reach out, they talk about Ebola, and that's what I'm fixing to say if I can get it on here. You should be terrified. The fact that this country is so advanced. Edward Snowden just touched the tip of the iceberg on it. When they can reach out and put you under mind control without your knowledge, and they can control your thought process, create an illness or cure it, make death appear of natural cause, and that includes death by suicide, or make you go out and shoot somebody or whack their head off. They can program armies. All right, that's what's going on. They can take down a plane, and it's almost like a response. The rocket that went off, and this has happened before at NASA. Especially the NASA flight that went down over Texas and Louisiana, where they've been sabotaged deliberately. But the one at Wallop Island the other day, and then I put this on Facebook to somebody that it was sabotaged, and then a few days later you've got the Brit that the plane has gone down out in the Mojave Desert. And they mentioned mind control can be used to do these things, and how do you prove it? But they mentioned something about premature something deployed there. And at one point I heard it where one of the pilots prematurely deployed it. But anyway, I want to go back to this, Ebola and AIDS. It was deliberately manufactured here in the United States, and it was sent to Africa. The whole thing is to take over Africa and the rest of the world, which they've done, the United States and the New World Order, the ones that kidnapped me. Okay, that's Ebola and AIDS virus. Okay, I worked in the hospital and doctors, but in one hospital in Marietta, I was head of, I did the payroll for paying the personnel, also inventory, and wrote the checks to the corporations and for the inventory. And it's shocking how much a hospital uses. I mean, stop and think about it. The electricity, the locks that go on the doors, all kinds of equipments and supplies and cotton swabs that are, okay, I don't have to tell you, next time you're in a hospital, look around yourself. But you stop and think about it now, and it was deliberately engineered, the virus was, Ebola and AIDS. There was money paid out to create the illness. Now then, they spread it over, and all the people who've died over there. And think about they give grants to college labs and funds, and to create, now then, rather than creating the illness, you create the cure. And this goes to it's not, here's the whole thing, it's not into hospitals or any of their advantage to find a cure for anything. If you notice all the kidney dialysis, all kinds of MRIs, everything new that goes into a hospital is not for a cure, it's to just keep you going. And it's the money invested in the equipment and the supplies. Now, you stop and think about the Ebola and go back to the AIDS, but the Ebola right at the moment, just use your imagination and go from ground zero up to what is involved in finding